I'm doing the same thing. Let's do the same thing. The first 500 rand, similar to this one, similar to what we did. Let X be the first 500 rand. There it is. Then the next term will gain an interest for 1 month. This one had no interest. This will gain an interest for 1 month. Then the third term will gain an interest for 2 months because it has been there for 2 months, and so on. So this one didn't gain any interest because it's the first time you are putting money into that account. Plus, put another one. This one will gain interest from that one because now there's a new amount all the time. By the time you get to this, it will have gained interest for a number of terms because it has been there for a long time. If I'm putting this, now this one shifts. There's another one, the new amount, that is gaining amount for like 2 months. There's an amount that has been there for 3 months. There's an amount that has been there for 4 months, and so on. This was nice and clear when we explained it here. Now the X's, some people might be confused because there are X's and Y's. Let me go back and recap. We said here, you put a 500 rand. But on the second month, the 500 rand that we are putting has already gained an interest for 1 month. Now, interest yayo. Ufaka any 500 on top of that, it will gain the amount of interest for 2 months, and so on. So the more you put, the more it gains the interest for inyanga ezimbini. So if 500 will gain interest for inyanga ezimbini, and so on. Let me go back to where we started. It was easier and nice here. That the amount that will gain the most interest would be this one. Later. This one won't gain any interest because it's the last amount. I'll do this again in the morning at school. So I don't want you to stress. This is just a brief introduction, a relaxed form of it, that the money will only accumulate an interest if you put it there for a while. Allow it to sit there. So let's go back to the formula where we derive it. So if this is the situation, let's clean it up. Yes. Now, let's start again. In order to derive a formula which can be used for problems when deposits are made on a regular basis, let's look at the case where X rand is deposited n times into a savings account. At the end of every month, offering an interest rate of I. So imalaka tola interest, or you're getting an interest for every month. It's been 2 months. So this amount is a total interest for 2 months because this has not finished a month ilapho yoqala. Igqiba inyanga eyi-1. Yayibona? 1. Igqiba inyanga ezimbini imali yakho iphana. Faka enye igqiba inyanga ezintathu, and so on. So imali yakho is getting the accumulation from ixesha eligqibayo, the time spendayo on the institution. Hence, but time is money. Remember that. The more time it will spend with the institution, the more interest it will accumulate. Now, at some point, it would have accumulated interest for a couple of months, which is X, open bracket 1, plus interest, close bracket to the power n. This forms a geometric series because this would be your R, and this would be your A, the first amount. Let's continue. If we're doing the same thing, A would be there. The sum of the geometric terms is also like this. A, and whatever R it is, multiplied by R, about R by 2, about R by multiplied by 3. So this is these are 3 brackets, 4 brackets, the same thing, but now the brackets are accumulating, which is the interest that we are talking about. Let's continue. If A is X, there's X. In the place of A, I'll put an X. R is the interest. This is the formula that you are used to, but this formula will use for future amount. F, instead of sum, we'll just write F here. Now you are done. You've got a formula for the future value. Let me get a highlighter. Instead of us having Sn here, we'll just have F there. Future value. How much will my money be at the end of a certain period? That's where this formula comes from. These ones cancelled each other. Then the I remained. Let's go to the actual formula for the future value. Please copy this if you can, if you see it. Copy it there. Then in the morning, I'll do it again as a session, as a proper session, because some learners do not have airtime, some learners do not have cell phones, and some learners might not have electricity because some areas as like us. Yeah, well. Let's continue. So I'll take this formula. We'll go to a PowerPoint slide. Then we'll continue with that and do a couple of examples. Please, if you can, just go through example. If you can use your book, you can use, it's fine. Let's look at the keys or the explanations or the terms, the key concepts. In this situation, F is the future value. How much will my amount of money that I've been saving be? Now let me increase the thickness. That's too much. How much will the money that I've been saving be? X, the value of the installment, usually paid monthly. X, and the accumulation of how many months has it accumulated. Another X, then you add those up, you'll get a certain amount. The reason we are doing it in the Formula 1, because we want to get them up at the same time. We won't have time to put X plus this, plus this, plus this. This formula is our savior, because it gives us the overall picture that if I put money on the first month, it won't gain interest because then on the second month, it's gaining interest for 1 month. On the third month, it's gaining interest for 2 months. But if you're going to do that exam, it will consume time. You'll be working inefficiently. Now, this is the savior. And everyone has witnessed how we created this formula because in the same qualities as some of geometric terms. That there's a constant amount that has been there and you are just adding. A is already also added but accumulated by different interest. So in this situation, I is the interest, not in a percentage, as an interest. I'll show you how we'll do it. I'll do a PowerPoint slide soon. Number of payments deposited, meaning installment, imali, pension. Le mali manifaka yiyo le number of X, but how many number of payments, how many terms, not number of years, number of terms. Because if you are paying for imoto for 3 years, the number of terms is not 3, but number of years. The number of terms will be 36 because it's a monthly installment. Please note that. Not number of years, it's number of terms, so number of payments. Thank you. Let's get an example. I wanted to do an example. I'm not going to do this one, but I want to do an example from the PowerPoint because it was explaining also the same thing. Now, this is also a brief lesson which, in this situation, instead of us having A, is just the normal compound. Instead of A, we've got F. As I said in class today, when you write this, please understand that A is the final amount or the future value. P is the present value or the principal amount. Isiqalo, the principal. Let's continue. This, in this form, let me zoom it in. Full screen? Yes. The future value, the present value, interest rate, period in terms of number of terms, number of payments, number of whatever. You can manipulate the formula and rewrite it as P is equal to F, or F, if you started with F, this would be the negative exponent. Capital is accumulated to a future value by means of regular payments, which we did. You pay a constant amount like pension fund, like UIF or whatever, whenever you are paying a certain amount constantly. This is what will happen. Compound interest is paid on the money in the fund. Sisebenza compound interest, but the compound interest omane ufaka imali kuyo qho. This is the formula we derived on the previous slides or on the previous lesson. Now I want us to start an example. You can take your pad, a pen or something. We'll try and do an example together. Then we'll look at the solutions. Then if you missed something, then you can catch up in the morning on our session, a class in. Let's try. This formula assumes that the regular payment is made at the end of each month. I hope you understand. Because it has an effect if we don't care because the interest if we make at the end of each month, the first one won't have an interest. Right? Hence, they've got something like a disclaimer of some sort to say end of the month. That's how the financial world works. Installment sifuna nge-month end, whether unizobhatala during whatever, but bazabala 30 days, bane cycle 30 days for imali to grow. It's a 30-day cycle. Whether wayibeka kuqaleni ngonyaka bazakubalela at 30 days for you to maybe due again, the rent will be due again, the installment will be due in 30 days. Hence, here we want to make sure that, let's clarify the point of it's month end payment. It's not just the beginning or any date. It's month end because the cycle, it's a financial cycle. Né? Let's continue. Now, okay. Yeah. Let's continue. This is when interest of the 2 months, the fourth one will gain interest of the previous ones, and so on. But the last one will gain no interest, zero. Why? Because it will not stay there for the next 30 days. It's the last one you're going to take your money away. Unless it was going to continue, it means you gain interest for the previous one, and so on. So this is what we just did. The first one being X, then another one will gain interest because you ube nemali before bafake this one. You had the amount already, and so on, which is the geometric sequence. I want us to go to an example because we did this. Let's try and calculate this one. I'll give you a minute or two. This is the formula. Angithatha formula le. Just copy the formula. I'll wait for you to copy the formula if you are writing. I'll wait for you to copy the formula. Let me see. Wait. Okay. Are you still there? Just write on the comments if you are still there. And say yes, or we are still here, or because anyone, just write on the comment. Just type on the comments. Because I'm seeing 7 people are online, but I'm not sure who's there and the response from this. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think I can. Yes, I can see you guys. Yeah. So let me just give a shout out to those people abakhona. Okay, Andile Vutlari, I can see you. Andile Masuku, Andile 20. Nesbali is dial. Andile 20. All right, let's continue. So this is an example in Funasiense. Just copy this formula quickly. Then we'll start an example. Copy this formula, this one, the blue one. I'll give you a minute. Once you are done with that, then we'll go to the solution and how we substituted, how do we get the answers, where do we substitute, why are we using it. So these are the factors that you don't want to be uncertain with exam. You don't want uncertain people. Like confidence it comes from the fact that you know what to use. X, what is I, N is number of terms, and the I is interest, or how do we put it? Let's continue. So this is the formula that we are looking forward to use. We are looking for the future value. How much will an investment be after a given number of periods? There it is. At the end of each month, Cosmo invest 500 Rand at 11% per annum, compounded monthly. Calculate the value of the investment after 9 years. That is the future value of the annuity. Iyobe uyimalini future value i-annuity. If angabeka 500 this month, ithole interest kunyanga elandelayo, kuyobe kuyimalini. Formula yethu, let's highlight. This is the regular payment. So data collection is very important. This is the regular payment, right? What else? The interest. What else? Compounded monthly, number of years. If it's compounded monthly, we'll calculate the number of terms there. Don't worry. Let's continue. So, this is my data collection. X, 500 Rand. I is 11% over a period of 12 months. But because it's going to be 9 years and payment is done every month, number of months as Zoba presents in 9 years would be 9 times 12, because each year is having 12 months. I hope you get that. Then the future value is what we are looking for. Let's continue. There's the formula that I wanted you to copy. Once you copy that formula and substitute, let's punch it into the emulator. Substitution. So I'll do my substitution on the emulator. The future value will be 91,000. But let me confirm using my emulator. Take your emulator also. Let's punch together. So on my side, I've got fraction. So this will also assist you in terms of how to use a calculator, handling the calculator. Ungafuni calculator sekufuna ukuzobhalwa, say calculator yama yangihlupha and all that, those stories. I don't want that. This double bracket, that one, 1. Punch in your 1 plus fraction form 0.11 over a period of 12 months each year, close bracket. Exponent, power 12 times 9. It's still using the compound properties. Because compound interest is just that you're putting money on the regular basis. Times 12. 12 times 9. That's it. Close the bracket again. Close the bracket. Before you close the bracket, let me put a 1 inside there. Please punch it with me and we'll see who's not punching it correctly, so that you can get used to this calculator yako. That's why they call it practice. You are practicing. Ungamangali ngecalculator so ungayazi. Le calculator ya freeze say. Hey. No. Awuqala practice. Awuyazi calculator yako. Equal to 91,588.60 cents. So this is the amount of money that would have been accumulated by this investment, at the end of 9 years. You put 500 Rand every month. In 9 years, you're bonus 91,000. So you learn to get annuity. That is called the annuity, the future value of an annuity. The annuity coming from annum, annual event, anniversary, annuity. It's a yearly event for the year. Every year we are putting this and this and this every year, so they call it anniversary. It's an annual event. Let's continue. If you want to copy, I'll wait for you to copy. Please say something on the comments. Let me show you. I'll write on my other side on comments. Let me just write here. There it is. If you are here, just mark the register. In 12 minutes we'll be done. So stop a manj. Let's do the second example. Let's look for something else. Future value related formula. Okay, this is a manipulation of the formula. I don't want you to stress about it, but you also do the manipulation. In my side, I manipulated the formula already. This is a multiplication sign. This is a multiplication sign. Let's look at this. Then the log is the one I introduced today. I don't want you to be stressed about it. I'm not going to do a lot of these. Let's just, yes, I think it's, yes, I want you to try this one. Then we'll call it a day, or call it an evening, or call it a night. In 5 years' time, Cosmo needs 20,000 rand to buy a new car. How much must he invest at the end of each month in a savings account that accrues interest at 10.5% compounded monthly? Now they are looking for X. Look at my data collection on the side. They are looking for X. How much money must be deposited on the regular basis? F being the future amount, it's already there. There's no need for us to look for it. Interest 10.5 divided by 12 because it's compounded monthly. How many? 30 days in a year? Z12. In months, Z12. N number of years. Each year is having 12 months. So we'll have 5 times 12. Lastly, the installments. X being the number of installments that are deposited. Let me give you a minute or two. Try this one and see if PulluP. This is the last one. It's just an introduction with a relaxed approach. I don't want us to go hectic or go heavy because it's just a relaxed approach. Other learners, remember, other learners do not have phones. So we'll do this in the morning at school. Other learners abanayo airtime, abana data, umbano hambile and all that. So we can't move as fast as we want to, but let's just get the overview of what's happening. That we are doing the same thing. It's just that now we are putting money every month. I'll give you a minute or two. Please try and do this and see the corrections. After that, we'll call it a day. Thanks a lot for abantu abajoyinileyo, guys. I appreciate the fact that you are using this internet not for only about TikTok and other stuff, but also for something important that you can learn at the comfort of your home or the comfort of your space. It's a nice thing. No one would say Gabanda, no one would say Kukude, Male transport. The money for transport, you can use it for data. And most of you here in a fiber, so it's not a they'll get it in the morning. It's not a train smash. It's just that let's use the internet and this data for izinto that you can learn. Earphones zakho, you are hearing usay ubumuva eklasini, uyamuva nasendlini. So and this will be saved for future purposes if you want to revisit it again. Do you want us to do corrections? Do you want us to do corrections? Okay. Now let's do corrections. I think it's time for us to do the corrections. Then we'll call it a day. And phone be exhausted. I don't want to exhaust you guys. I'll be exhausted. I see again. Now you can put it the normal way and manipulate to X. Abe is subject of the formula. There's no need for you to do it the way I did, like this manipulation. There's no need for you to go and do it like this. This is for my convenience, that I don't need to manipulate because I'm a teacher. And in a period of 1 hour, when I've got your whole life or your whole grade 12 life now, you can just manipulate up until you get used to it, because I don't want you to memorize this manipulated version. It's multiplication sign there. Don't memorize that because it's going to be too much for you. Use the normal formula. Use the normal formula. The problem is I don't want you to try and memorize the formulas. This original is there on the formula sheet. But this one is not there. It's a manipulation for my own convenience, for its clash. I don't want to spend time looking at manipulate the formula. But for you, you can play around up until you get it. Let's go to the corrections. Let me erase this. Let's get the corrections, punch it in, and see. This is the manipulation. Where now you'll have your own way, but please comment on the section and tell me that you got the same amount. So every month, Cosmo must deposit 254 rand, 88 cents, for him to accumulate, or for investment yakhe to ensure that 20,000 rand azothenga imoto, because ufuna uthenga imoto in the next 5 years. You can use the other way, punch it into your formula yako to get that. I don't have a problem. Let's punch it together on this one. Even though it might look different, let's punch it together. So with me, I'll have a fraction form, 20,000 in the place of F, because that's the future value already. He's got an idea of how much he wants to save. 0.105. Yeah, over 12. 12. And then all over, then I'll put a fraction, this in fraction form. Let me, yes, open bracket, 1 plus fraction 0.105. I'm just punching it in so that you can see how we get it. Then there's 12. 60 is 12 times 5, which is 60. Hence, we've got 60 here. Minus 1. You can just say minus 1. Equal to 254 and 88 cents. That's the amount of money he will need to put away. Thanks a lot for joining. Have a great one. I'll leave this a bit so that you can maybe copy it or do a comment or leave your name on the comment section so that I can take a register. Thanks a lot. Have a great one. Tomorrow, this is what we will start with. I'll also start from scratch. So if I understand the ngomso uze understand kahle, because uzoba ne 1 hour, I'll just go through it. But ngizoqala nge-corrections za previous day. This is it. I'll leave it like this so that you can copy if you were writing anything down. Thanks a lot for joining. Have a great one. Siyabonga.